All right, guys, welcome back to the Perfect Portfolio. It's an exciting day again. Here we are live for the Perfect Portfolio. I don't know how many times we've done this, but I think it was about 4 years ago when we came up with this idea for the Perfect Portfolio, and it's just taken off. Now it's finally wrote the book on the strategy that we're going to talk to you guys about today, and just a lot of exciting things happening. I've been doing a lot of radio, some news stations, being on most of the big networks on iHeartRadio, being interviewed for the book, and the book is still number one personal tax book in the United States and absolutely killing it. We finally audiobook was released today. I know people are like, "Where's the audiobook?" It was released today, so very exciting times for this company. And the best part about it is I get emails every day saying that people read the book and they say it changed my life, and and then they're coming to the class, and it's very exciting what's going on. Since I wrote this book for ordinary Americans, you know what I mean? I wanted to help construction workers and regular people. And of course, we do a lot of tax consulting for business owners and affluent people. But again, we wanted to make this about helping ordinary Americans and teaching them cool strategies so they can, pay little in taxes and then retire with dignity and retire at any age. So we have an awesome presentation for you guys. This is the next, 2025 perfect portfolio. We finally fully systematized this, and of course, with the book, it's going to be huge. And we figured out how to do this with five different assets over the last 4 years, and it's been a tremendous amount of money invested and time building this, but every day we get just people excited about their future. So. This is our first class introduction and overview, and let's just jump into it. So, anyways, some people have read my books. A lot of people end up here reading. Some people read my books. Some people watched YouTube videos. Some people went to the Perfect Portfolio, our website, and just browsed around and started learning. A lot of people just go to social media. But honestly, most of the growth of the company has come from just word of mouth. Okay, it's been from past students who went to learn the perfect portfolio strategies, and then they got excited, and then they just started to share it with other people. That's been most of our growth has just been organic referrals. That's how we've been growing for years, and we haven't really done much marketing before with the company. We're starting to do that right now. But again, most of I love growing just on people just excited about the things that they're learning, and then they're sharing it with others. So, anyways, if you don't know my background, wrote three books: Rich Man, Poor Bank, What the Banks Don't Want You to Know About Money, Top 10 Ways to Avoid Taxes. A book about what's called indexed universal life insurance that has to do asset protection, protecting from stock market crashes. Became a best-selling author on Amazon with the third book. Uh, Currently moved to left California, moved to Knoxville, Tennessee. Originally Canadian, so got to go visit my brother in Canada, and got married a couple years ago. And in Cabo, had met my incredible wife, and went to Cabo. Now it's one of our favorite places to go. And being Canadian, definitely like hockey, and my nephews are little hockey players, and then we just bought ourselves a Tesla about 14 months ago, and always wanted a Tesla, and always wanted to ride an Icon A5. That's that airplane up there, amazing airplane, and got to do that in Austin, Texas, when I was there visiting AJ, who's on here with us. He's our COO, he's our co-author of the book, and then just like hanging out, hockey games, enjoying life. My wife and I, fortunately, we get to work wherever we want, when we want, and we have a very nice lifestyle, right? I don't have to be working tonight. This is something that I'm enjoying. I love it. It's fun. This is actually fun stuff for me. Like this is I truly enjoy just helping people with this stuff. So this is a lot of fun. Okay. I didn't enjoy it as a financial advisor, to be honest with you. When I was a financial advisor, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was kind of very much over it. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. I was a financial advisor, and fiduciary investment advisor for 15 years. I used to train financial advisors, and I was actually the financial advisors for a number of CPAs, and I left that in 2018. Okay. And we started doing entrepreneurial companies and a lot of tax consulting. And that's how it kind of, we'll talk a little bit about that. So, okay. So I grew up without any financial education. Um, yeah, there was just no financial education. That's me. I was born in Thompson, Manitoba. There's me, my dad with an axe there, and my brother, and I'm the kid in the blue. And grew up with very poor, didn't have any money. Northern Canada. My dad was a uranium and nickel miner. Then he became a brick mason. I've mixed a lot of concrete with my dad. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she used to do babysitting just to make a few extra bucks just to keep things going. My parents lived paycheck to paycheck. Both died without life insurance or long-term care and absolutely no assets. So within my family, it's been three generations on both sides that died with no assets. So we never inherited a stock or real estate or anything for three generations, at least that I know of, right? So both my grandparents died and their parents died with no assets. So just didn't have any money. And honestly, I was just tired of being poor when I was a kid. So I was like, I don't want to be poor anymore. So um, my mom called me Money Mark when I was 16 because I would not stop talking. I was like, I need to make money. I'm tired of being broke all the time. So came to the United States 25 years ago. I came here. I didn't have a high school diploma. I didn't have a college diploma, and I had no green card. Right, so no green card, no high school, no college diploma. Came to the United States, got a job as a security guard for minimum wage. So good start, right? Exciting. And and private investigator for 6 years. I went from security guard to private investigator, and I used to chase people around with a video camera on workers' compensation claims. All right, anybody other private investigators here? I guess. And if you're interactive in the chat, and like you can respond in the chat. It's much more fun just seeing responses and kind of if you're involved in this presentation just a little bit. You're going to be that much more. And I'm also going to ask you some questions. Now, we're not going to have answer questions or anything in this, but just answering those questions in the chat is going to make it more fun for you. It's going to make it a little bit more accurate. And again, we're not going to you Q&A. All these are informational seminars. And then, of course, we have the course is 8 to 9 classes. Okay. So and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, I don't know if anyone ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but read that in my car when I was a private investigator, and I was like, whoa, this is why I didn't like school, right? I never knew why I didn't like school. Um, I did go to college for 2.5 years in Canada for finance and business and financial advising, but I actually dropped out because honestly, I got the student loans and credit card debts, but nobody was teaching me how to really make money. So I thought college was a little bit of a scam. What I concluded. So I left Canada and went to the United States to California. Okay. I was a financial advisor in 2006. Wrote my first book. It took me 5 years from 2009 to 2014. I wrote my book called Rich Man, Poor Bank. Okay. And it teaches you what the banks don't want you to know about money. Okay. There it is. It was translated into Spanish, en español, hombre rico, banco pobre. So as that was we still sell that. Doesn't sell a lot, but we still get some positive reviews from people who actually read that book, and pretty cool stuff. Again, spent 15 years training insurance agents. I was an investment advisor, fiduciary, financial advisor, and I was a financial advisor for a number of CPAs. And then I had this realization that my clients were not getting financially free or retiring early. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're a financial advisor for CPAs and the financial advisor and CPAs don't know how to retire and you don't know how to retire and you're the financial advisor, um, that's where I was like, something's wrong, right? I was like, something is really, really wrong here because it didn't feel right. I didn't feel like we were doing the best thing for the clients. I saw lots of other things that I'd rather invest into, and then they said you can't do that. You're a financial advisor, and then they said, you can't do that stuff. In fact, they told me I can't release my second book if I want to stay as a financial advisor, right? So I was like, well, that's an easy decision, and I resigned. You know what I mean? So. Um, Yeah, I resigned in 2018, um, when I was writing my second book. Okay, so right, so the next book was Top 10 Ways to Avoid Taxes. That was 2018. That's where I met AJ at the time when I was resigning. Basically, decided that I was done in the financial industry and left in 2018, started a consulting company called Remy Group. We were doing consulting for real estate, mortgages, insurance, investing. We were actually going to wealthy offices in California for new real estate consulting and talk about tax avoidance. We were teaching rich people how to avoid taxes in 2018, and business owners. And then we were really busy. And then what happened is that coronavirus happened and all our appointments canceled. So we literally were doing in-person seminars, appointments got canceled, and and then I figured I better, learn how to do something else. So um, we sat down and a bunch of friends and we said, hey, we should start a financial education company because I was making a lot of money after the market crashed with coronavirus. I was investing and I was putting some things on Instagram and showing people really fast ways to make money. And we decided to start a financial education company, and that's when we started the Perfect Portfolio. So pretty fun how we got here. Then fourth book. This is actually a big publishing company that emailed us, I don't know, 10, 11 months ago and asked if we could write a book on this specific strategy. So there was Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes, Use the Buy, Borrow, Die strategy to get rich and stay rich. Okay. So how many people, by the way, in the chat have heard of the words buy, borrow, die? Anyone have ever heard that before? Okay. So somebody said that's a great book. Okay. If you love it, be sure to jump on Amazon and give us a 5-star review. We do appreciate that much. Not before this class. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Most people would never. So we're going to talk about this buy, borrow, die strategy quite a bit today. Okay. All right. So this is the first book ever written on the subject of buy, borrow, die. Okay, there's never been a book. Now, there's about 18 copycat books that popped up on Amazon recently on buy, borrow, die, but we're the first that actually wrote the book on buy, borrow, die, and more importantly, it's written for ordinary Americans. You go through the first part, it's written for ordinary Americans. So pretty cool subject. Building your perfect portfolio. We talked about building your perfect portfolio. Now, your perfect portfolio may be different than somebody else's. But there's 5 pillars we're going to talk about today. One is stocks and ETFs, life insurance, real estate, cryptocurrency, and gold and precious metals, right? So those 5 assets, and you apply those assets to buy, borrow, die, and it's a very fast way to build wealth, okay? Probably faster than most people would kind of believe, okay? You'll see some YouTube videos where testimonials where somebody comes in their course and they're like, in their mid 50s and they literally believe they're going to have to work for the rest of their life, and we can retire them within like 1 to 2 years. Okay. And it's pretty common these days. So good stuff. So we'll talk about these 5 pillars. Um, and we talk about the book about learn how anyone can build $6 million um, in in wealth. And it's a pretty simple strategy in the book. Buy stocks, never sell them. Um, yeah, so never sell the stocks. And then rather than sell the stocks, you borrow from those to buy other stocks. Okay. And we figured out how to systematize this, but it's pretty simple strategy. Anyone can do it. In fact, we start people with $100 in a brokerage account. How many people feel like you could put $100 of your own money to start it up and start learning the strategy? Anyone feel like that's too big of a number for you. So I think everybody on here who's already done this, I probably started everybody with $100 in a brokerage account. Cool. So all right. Yeah, by the way, if you want to get a copy, I mean, just go to Amazon, Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. You can scan that and then pick up a copy. Again, audiobook was just released, I think a few hours ago. So if you want to get the audiobook, okay. All right. So, by the way, we're not financial advisors. We don't give financial advice. We don't give tax advice. We're simply professional investors. Okay. We learned how to do this. We teach it to other people, but we don't give financial advice, and we don't. But we do have some goals, right? Is we can teach you how to do this. You can learn how to do this, and then you can use it to change your family legacy if you want. Okay. So this is our Remy the robot. Um, and Remy, and we're going to teach you um, how the rich pay no taxes. Okay. And people don't believe you. You be like, you can't not pay taxes. That's illegal. I'm like, there's a lot of people who don't pay taxes. Okay. And, we just spent literally 4 years. And then we not only spent 4 years learning how to do it, we taught it to hundreds of people. Okay. So, and then that's when we decided, yeah, book. So we're going to learn the buy, borrow, die strategy. How many people learn it, want to excited about the buy, borrow, die strategy? This is the strategy that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all those billionaires use. They are, we can show you how to apply the exact same strategy, okay, that they use. And very few people in the world know how to do this. Okay. Um, Very few, no, most no financial advisors or CPAs actually know how to apply this strategy. Okay. So pretty cool stuff. You guys are going to get a big edge on this, on learning this. Hey, term buy, borrow, die. It's not a new term. It actually came out in the 1990s. Okay. So it's about 30 years old, roughly. Been around a very long time. Um, but and I'll tell you, the guy who coined the phrase, he was trying to simplify how rich people don't pay taxes, like how billionaires don't pay taxes. He's trying to simplify it. He said, buy, never sell, borrow, which is not, you don't have to pay taxes on loans. And then when you die, you get a step up in basis and you pass the wealth to your family with no taxes. So it was a way to circumvent the US tax system. And, again, it comes from
You,
this guy at University of Southern
you know,
California.
the funny thing is, Mark, a lot of people say, well, how come I've never heard of buy, borrow, die before? Or how come I've never heard of this before? Here's the thing. I actually took a course from Professor McCaffrey at USC. And I can tell you in the entire time I was in that course and friends, in fact, I have friends who went on to law school at SC and had Professor McCaffrey again. He never once mentioned it in any of the courses. So, the guys who know how to do this, they tend to keep it to themselves. So that's why, if you haven't heard about it, it's because the guys who know how to do it and the guys who are using it aren't telling anybody else about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know guys that, you could name a pretty fancy high-end university. They all tell me the same thing. We never learned it either, and we paid, 200 grand student loans. They're getting, lawyers, financial guys. They have never learned it either. So it's not really shared amongst most people. So, all right. So now my question was, I'd been a financial advisor for 15 years, trained financial advisors, you know, talked to countless CPAs, helped CPAs do their financial planning, and nobody'd ever heard the term buy, borrow, die before. I'm like, how is it possible that all the universities, all the financial advisors, all the CPAs, they don't learn the strategy that billionaires use to not pay taxes? Okay. Good question, right? You guys can think about that. Okay. You guys can come to your own conclusions. Okay. All right. So the purpose of this course was pretty simple. We wanted to build a course that anyone could implement. Okay. And we said, what's the purpose? Hey, simple. Raise your financial IQ. See, can't anyone do that? We have people here who have maybe never invested or they're scared. We got some, you know, investors who love in trading and investing and they're aggressive. And then we got some people who are, more conservative. And then we got people that are young people or older people and but we can all raise our financial IQ. Okay, but you have to measure where you are. Okay, so we're gonna go into this later in the course, 7 levels of financial IQ, and then you kind of figure out where you are, and then you figure out where you want to be. Sound good? But everyone can raise your financial IQ, and we want you to raise your financial IQ today. Okay, teach you to fish. Okay, so I didn't like, as a financial advisor, I didn't want people to rely on me. I said I want to teach people exactly how to do this themselves, and then they don't need me anymore. How many people feel like you don't want to need your financial advisor anymore? Right? You're like, all right, I'm gonna learn this and then run my own finances. Okay. How many people feel like that you might be the best advisor and give your advice, let's say you'd be the best fiduciary for your family, meaning you would give yourself the best financial advice for your family? How many people feel like that might be the case? Okay, especially if we taught you a system that was far superior than what your financial advisor can do. And we're not picking on financial advisors here. I was one of them. It's more that financial advisors are kind of worried themselves because many of them can't retire either. So the book was actually written to help financial advisors too. Okay. So we wanted to teach you to fish, automate your income. We don't care about a retirement account from 20 to 30 years. We want to build income streams now, and we're going to show you how to do that and measure them and build them pretty quickly. Okay. Our goal was create 1 million new millionaires. Okay. And when I designed the course, I'm like, what do I want to do? I'm like, create 1 million new millionaires. And I was like, is that possible? And I was like, all right, let's just do it. And I decided to do it. And now I think it's going to take us about 5 years to do it. Just of compounding, of people help, the compounding multiplication of people that learn it and then teach others. So we want to help 1 million people. And that's our goal as a company. Now, how many people have ever heard of Sadhguru? Okay, pretty interesting guy. Has some pretty interesting thoughts. He says, "Thinking is just a recycling of the data you've gathered in the past." How many people have ever heard of that? Thinking is just a recycling of the data you've gathered in the past. Okay, well, think about that. Okay, right? Think about that. Imagine you said, "I want to retire in 10 years," and you said, "I want to figure out how to do that." Well, your brain would like find solutions, wouldn't you? What if you had the belief that the only way to retire is go to school, get a job, work hard, pay taxes, save money, get credit, fund my retirement account so one day I can retire at 65 or 70? What if that's the only thing you know? You're kind of stuck, right? What if everybody around you is doing the same thing? Well, you're not going to get the information because thinking is just a recycling of the data you gathered in the past. So we're going to give you some new things to think about today. Okay, some new ideas, and they're the most effective ideas that I've ever found in 25 years of studying finances and writing 4 books. Okay, this is the best of the best. Okay. So, all right. So, first of all, we're going to talk about money and what is money. Okay. So, now, definitely like to get some comments on this, and we're going to go through this thing, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and it's very important for people to answer the questions because I'm going to ask you the same questions at the end of the presentation, and and then I want to see what your answer is. If you participate in this and you answer the questions up at the front and you answer them at the end, you're going to get more benefit out of this presentation. Does that sound good? Okay, so all right, let's look at this. What is money? Anything is the characteristics of money. And we're going to teach you how to identify money. So anything that we agree has value has the characteristics of money. Okay, the characteristics of money. Anything we agree has value has the characteristics of money. Okay. It must be easily transferable and it must have limited supply. Limited supply. Very important. Okay. So just remember that. Agree it has value, easily transferable, and limited supply. Now, 4 questions. How is money created? Okay. If I asked you how is money created, what would your response be in the chat? How is money created? Okay. How is money created? Any ideas? Okay, just answer it in your mind, right? Just how is money created? Most common answer, they print it. Okay, they say Federal Reserve, they print it, and that's how money is. That's the most common answer. Okay, who can create money? Who can create money? Okay, all right. Okay, most people say, most common answer, the Federal Reserve. They say the Federal Reserve prints it. That's the government creates it. Okay, the Federal Reserve. That's the most common answer. Can I create money? Okay, yes or no? Can you create money? Okay, most common answer, nope. That's counterfeiting. Like I'll go to jail. Like you can't, take your $100 bill and take it to FedEx and put it on the thing and start counterfeiting, right? That's people say, well, you can't, I can't create money. That's counterfeiting. That's illegal. Okay, most common answer. Do I have to work to make money? Okay, do you have to work to make money? Yes or no? Okay, most common answer, yes. You must work to make money. Most people believe that they have to work to make money. Okay, well, we're going to test that right now. Okay, so first of all, let's look at what is money or what has the characteristics of money. Is a cow money? Is a cow money? Cow, is it money? Okay, but it has the characteristics of money, doesn't it? We agree it has value. Anyone can agree that a cow has value. If it's organic, grass-fed, it's even more expensive, right? So is it easily transferable? Hey, you can walk the cow down the street and you could sell it, exchange it for paper. So it definitely has value, the characteristics of money, and it has limited supply. Okay. Again, if there's less organic grass-fed cows, then those are actually more valuable than the other ones. Okay, so it's even the quality of the cow. Okay, so but characteristics of money. So cows have the characteristics of money. How about a silver dollar? Okay, a silver dollar. Okay, okay, we agree it has value. Remember, it says $1 on it. Remember, it says $1, right? But wait, it's worth more than a dollar, isn't it? What, 30 bucks right now? I haven't checked the price of silver, but is it probably over 30 right now? Okay. So it says $1 on it, but hey, it's worth 30 bucks. That's kind of weird, right? So, but we agree it has value. It's easily transferable and it has limited supply. See, it's the silver that makes it valuable, not the thing $1 on it didn't make it valuable. Oh, 33 bucks. Sweet. Okay. Canadian dollar, same thing. How about Bitcoin? Does Bitcoin have the characteristics of money? Does Bitcoin have the characteristics of money? We agreed it has value. I don't know, is it 90,000 today? I can only know. It's like 90,000 bucks, right? So the world agrees that Bitcoin is worth 90,000. Okay. And there's more people in the world that agree it has value. Okay. Um, right. So there's actually the government, US government says, you know what? Geez, this is has value. We're actually going to have it as a reserve, just like they have gold reserves and oil reserves. They're like, wow, we need Bitcoin reserves. Okay, and that's coming very quickly right now. So Bitcoin, Riguriate has value. It's easily transferable and it has limited supply. Did you know that 95% of all the Bitcoin that will ever be created is already created? There's only 5% left for the entire world to share. Okay, so it has limited supply. We have a ton of stuff in the book about Bitcoin, and we have an entire class on Bitcoin. So if you're not sure what Bitcoin is, read the book and come attend the class. Okay. How about real estate? Is real estate, we agree it has value? Yes. First characteristic, easily transferable. Not easily transferable, but it can be sold. Limited supply. Limited supply, right? Absolute limited supply, expensive to build, right? Bitcoin's expensive to create. Okay, so that makes it even harder to create it. Um, so yeah, real estate. If you have real estate in the middle of Ohio, just in a field, probably not that much. But if you have it in Tennessee, overlooking a lake, man, limited supply, right? You can only have so much lakefront property. Okay, so that's my favorite thing, lakefront property, by the way. Okay, so yeah, the real estate. All right, so next one, a $20 bill, is that money? Yes or no? Okay. Let's check the list. We agree it has value. 20 bucks, right? Okay. Is it easily transferable? Go, check that box. Sweet. Okay. How about limited supply? Does it have limited supply? No, it doesn't. In fact, since 1971, our money has lost 90% of its value. 90% since 1971. Okay. So, right, unlimited supply goes down in value. Anything, and I'll prove it to you. Okay. The next big asset we can invest into, the paper is fake money. It's fiat, not backed by anything. The only thing that gave our money value was it was backed by silver. As soon as they took it off the gold standard, it was just paper. They could print any amount, and they could actually create it in computers by pressing buttons. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, now let's compare our money to, and here's the thing, the $1 bill coin on the left is worth $33. The $20 bill on the right over that same period is worth 50 cents. So they switched. Okay. So, anyways, um, now the next one is called Charmin Ultra Strong, a very good investment. Here's why I know it's a good investment. It's going up in value over the past 5 years when our money, also called toilet paper money, is going down. So basically, toilet paper is a better investment than holding US dollars. Okay, that should tell you something about our our Federal Reserve notes. They're not money. They're basically fake money. Okay, Bitcoin's real money. The toilet paper money is losing value compared to toilet paper. Okay, so something to think about. Okay, now I will prove to you that all money is just it's just almost like an idea. Okay. And I'm prove this to you guys. Okay. This is an example I talk about all the time. Okay. How many people have ever gone to Costco before? Anyone? How many have ever bought a big screen TV before? Maybe at Costco or somewhere you bought a TV. Okay. Now I'm going to talk to you, just, ask you this. Let's say you go to Costco and I swipe my credit card and I buy a $2,000 TV. Okay. What happened when I swiped the credit card? Okay. What happened? Well, $2,000 was created in a computer. It didn't exist. It was a digital entry. It was created as debt. $2,000, they created in a computer. $2,000 existed. Of course, who made money though when they created the money? Who actually made profit when they made that digital entry? Well, Costco makes some money. Hey, that's cool. They're providing good jobs. They're bringing down TV prices. Let's say it's LG TV. LG TV made some money. That's cool. They're producing TVs, they're manufacturing, they're providing jobs. They made some money. Swipe it. The bank collects a fee. The bank collects a fee when you swipe the card, so the bank made some money. Now, what happens if I don't pay off the credit card in 30 days? What happens? Man, 24% interest, right, on credit cards. So the bank would make more money. The money does actually not created. It's just more digital entries in a computer, adding interest just on digital entries in a computer. Okay. Now, who else made money? Who else made money? The government. Every time you swipe the credit card, there's taxes. All the taxes are passed on to you when you swipe the credit card. But there's hundreds of levels of taxation. Shipping, gasoline taxes to get that TV, shipping, import taxes. There might be like 50 different taxes that are charged upon that TV, all the way from coming from other countries, import taxes, gasoline taxes. And as soon as you swipe it, all those taxes, plus the taxes on the state, federal, city taxes, all those taxes are passed on to you when you swipe the credit card. So who gets rich when you swipe a credit card to buy a TV at Costco? Well, the government certainly makes a lot of money, and the banks make a lot of money. Okay. Just saying. Okay. So, see, now what happens when you pay off the credit card? They delete the entry. most of the money in the world is, you know what? It's created by pressing buttons. It doesn't exist. They just press button, create it, press a button, and it's deleted. Most of the money in the world is just zero ones in a computer. People say, well, Bitcoin's digital, it's in a computer. I'm like, all the money is just literally deleted and pressing buttons. Now, the question is, what if you could press buttons and create money? What if you could do it? Hmm. Who would like to press buttons and create money with no time, no work, and no taxes? How many people would like to do that? Okay, we'll show you how to do that. Okay. All right, so what is this buy, borrow, die thing? Okay, so we're going to show you a video on this, and then we'll go into some more information about it.
Some of the very richest Americans pay little in taxes compared with how fast their fortunes grow each year. How? They use a tax strategy known as buy, borrow, die. It's like the ultra wealthy are living on another planet. Average people need income to pay for basics like housing and food. But the ultra wealthy don't. They can just live on borrowed cash. Step 1, buy. The ultra wealthy buy an asset or build a company or inherit a fortune. As long as they don't sell, they owe no taxes. They keep their income as low as possible, since every dollar they earn can be taxed. Step 2, borrow. They borrow against their holdings and the bank gives them a really good deal.
I'll loan you $10 million with only 3% interest. But if you take a $10 million salary from your company, you'll owe almost 37% to the IRS.
So the ultra-wealthy use loan money to fund their lifestyles. That's how a billionaire can live the most luxurious life imaginable while reporting little to no taxable income. Step 3, die. When they die, these lucky few often use complicated trusts and philanthropic foundations to avoid the estate tax. And their heirs can inherit stocks and other assets tax-free. A new generation is ultra-wealthy and the cycle starts all over again.
Pretty cool. All right. Now you're like, okay, that's nice that billionaires do it. But anyone can buy, borrow, die. Okay? Anyone can do it. Okay? So there's an article when we were building this course, and I'll give you a little bit of history. I was using an investment platform, and at the time I could borrow at 2% interest, and we were buying a thing called a covered call ETF that earned a 10% dividend, and we were borrowing at 2%. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. Okay. Interest rates are now at 6%, but it's okay. We're still good on it. So anyways, this article came out, and that's where I learned the term buy, borrow, die, and more importantly, that ordinary Americans can do it. We were actually doing it, but we didn't know there was a name to it. Okay. And that's when we really started going down this rabbit hole of buy, borrow, die. Okay. All right. So we figured out we wanted to build systems for passive income. We wanted to go, so look, we don't care about retirement accounts. Let's build income now. And we wanted to help people retire at any age. Okay. So that was our goal, build passive income streams, automate your income. And we wanted to build our passive goals. So we said, look, we want active and passive. Some things you have to work on. Some things you just set them up and forget them and they run themselves. Okay. You can do a little bit of both. But more importantly, we want to make money in sideways markets. Even if the market isn't going up, we're making money. And in down markets, it's constantly buying more. Okay. So we didn't care. We want up markets, down markets, sideways markets. We're always doing well and we're always winning the game. Okay. So that was our goal. We said we wanted to build family banks. Okay. We teach you how to build 3 family banks. As long as you can buy this and then borrow from that to buy that asset, and then as that grows, you can borrow from that one to buy that one, rock and roll. So we teach you how to build multiple family banks where you can buy and borrow. Okay. There's a term in the book called dead money. Dead money is when you buy an asset and you can't take a loan from it. You kill the cycle of buy, borrow, die. So we want to buy an asset. As it grows, borrow from that asset to buy that asset. Those assets grow, borrow from those assets to buy another one. As those assets grow, borrow from that one to buy that one, and keep going on and keep using this buying and borrowing cycle. That's exactly how billionaires do it. and it's pretty easy to do these days. Okay, so build multiple family banks. Um, Asset protection is very important. Life insurance and long-term care insurance are very important to protect your assets. And also tax penalties are being rolled out in the United States if you don't have long-term care. Okay, so the government's going to take more penalties from your income if you don't have long-term care insurance. So we talk about that, chapter 35 in the book. Okay, so but you can also invest with no risk and no taxes. You can grow your money with absolutely no risk, lock in the gains every single year, never pay taxes, die with no taxes. But again, you can buy, grow it, and then borrow, and then fund other assets. Okay, so you could build a cycle here of buying and borrowing stocks and ETFs, borrow to buy life insurance. But then, as you grow that asset, then you borrow to buy real estate. Okay, when you borrow, if your down payment was borrowed, and then you got a mortgage, what's a mortgage? It's more debt. It's more borrowing. It creates more money that you didn't pay taxes on. When you sign a mortgage document, you create money in a computer and you didn't pay taxes on it. I'm like, whoa, all right. So buy a $400,000 house, put nothing down. You can do that too. 400 grand, create it on a computer. It buys your house. You didn't pay taxes on the money. You did buying and borrowing in one side of it. So if you're buying a house with nothing down, that's 100% other people's money, and that's 100% tax free. Okay. Then you buy your real estate. And then you have this thing called depreciation. Depreciation is used to pay no taxes. Okay. So there's lots of ways to wipe out taxable income using what's called a depreciation. Again, we'll cover that in the class. Okay. Now, then you have you have depreciation and you have oil and gas. So there's ways to do that. And then we wanted to figure out we figured out we could do buy, borrow, die with gold and Bitcoin. So cryptocurrency and gold and precious metals, we figured we could do buy, borrow, die with those two. And that's where we really took it off and this thing become a lot of fun. Okay. So there's our kind of a system. Now, if you have real estate and it's generating tax-free income streams and you funnel them down into your brokerage account and you're buying other assets with money that's never been taxed, and then you borrow from that and you build a cycle, it goes round and round, and the longer you use it, the faster it grows. Okay, so very cool thing, and a good system, and it works incredibly well, and we've been able to duplicate it with a lot of our students. Okay, so sound good? Is this better than your 401k? Anybody? Yes, better than a 401k. Okay. All right. So are you using OPM to invest? Okay, so I took a snapshot of my personal investment account. This was taken yesterday. It has $168,221.14 as of yesterday. This is one of my investment accounts. I've been using the same one now for quite a long time for teaching our students. Okay. So that's the amount as of yesterday. It made some more money today, which is cool. Great. Okay. Now, here's the positions in the account. Okay. There's one from JP Morgan there. There's one from Guggenheim. There's one from a company called Neos and YieldMax and Direction, and one from a company called Simplified Volatility. But basically, everything in there is a complex options trade. Okay. Now, you don't need to be an options trader. I used to be an options trader 25 years ago, so I learned this stuff. But the cool part is you don't have to be an options trader to do this. Okay. You don't have to know much about options, but we will teach you a little bit about options. But okay, so let's look at this portfolio. This portfolio generates about $5,000 a month. Okay, it's 168,000. It generates just dividends of 5,000. That's about $60,000 a year, literally doing nothing. Okay, sideways markets, no problem. Up markets, even better. Okay, but if market just ran sideways, this would make about $5,000 a month off of 168,000. People say, well, that sounds too good to be true. Well, you can read in the book, there's things called covered call ETFs. Okay, an ETF is like a bucket. Okay, there's managers of companies that will literally do stock options trading inside the bucket. Okay. JP Morgan, different companies will do that for you. And that's also covered in the book, the basics of that, how to generate huge income streams inside an ETF. So this is 9 positions here. And some of them have to do with Bitcoin, Palantir, artificial intelligence. Um, some are super growth in the stock market. But everything in there is like a complex options trade pretty much, and it generates very high income. And that's how many people feel like you could retire on $5,000 a month? Okay. See, but it's only $168,000. Okay. It's not that much money compared to what you would need at somewhere else. Okay. All right. I've also borrowed $77,981.44. Okay. Now, question for you guys. Did I have to work for the $77,981.44? Did I have to work for it? No. How much taxes did I pay on $77,981.44? How much taxes did I pay? I didn't. How did I create it? Pressing buttons. Okay. It's secured by my investment account, so can't default on it. People think, well, you went into debt. No, I didn't. I pressed the button and created $77,000 without working or paying taxes. Okay. Now I could use that money to buy real estate. I could buy life insurance. I can invest in a business. I could donate it to a church. I could go buy an iPhone with it. I can do whatever I want with that money. Okay. Now, as long as the investment grows faster than the debt, which it does, because if you look at the numbers on this, in March, I paid 42. March was actually a little bit lower on the dividends just because options trading can do that, but it was $4,220.92. Okay. And I paid $308 in interest. How many people would like to make $4,200 in dividends and pay $308.84 in interest? How long would you like to do that for? Okay. So the average dividend is on the average dividend is about $5,000 per month. When they're trading options, that can fluctuate, but it could be 4,500, it could be 5,500 next month, but it's going to fluctuate within a range. And as long as I'm reinvesting the dividends, it's just going to be way higher. 3 months down the road, my income's going to go up even if I don't work. Okay, because it keeps reinvesting the dividends. How do I get money? I never actually liquidate anything. I'll just borrow money at 5.25 and send it to my bank account, and I can live off that money if I want. Okay. Now, these loans, there's no application, no credit check. It doesn't go on your credit score, and there's no required payments on the loans. Why would there be a required payment if I get $4,000 a month in dividends and there's $300 in debt? Who cares? It's just 0 ones in a computer anyways. Okay. I know a bunch of our students I've already walked you guys through it. So there's a bunch of people, if you've never done this, there's a bunch of students I've already met with this week and started them out, and they've already been doing this. So pretty cool. When do you pay back the debt? Never. I'm not trying to get into debt. I'm not trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to get more debt. Assets, grow them, borrow, circumvent the tax system, take on more debt, buy another asset, didn't have to work for it. Assets grow, borrow from those assets to buy more assets. I'm never paying taxes. Okay. But you can make hundreds of millions of dollars of assets just by taking on debt, either pressing a button, signing a mortgage document. But as long as the asset makes more money than the debt, you build wealth. That's why the rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer because they're working hard, paying their taxes, fighting inflation, save money, get good credit, put money in a 401k, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Sorry. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying get educated today and look at the alternative. You can do whatever you want. You can keep jamming money in your 401ks and doing that, but why not learn something a little bit different? Okay. The old system isn't working for anybody, so probably look at something else. You know what I mean? Kind of makes sense to me. Okay. So, and yeah, it's cool stuff. Okay. Now I have many different portfolios, and so does my wife. So that's just one of my portfolios. That's the one that I've been using for training for You know, you could watch every single overview and you could see the progression of that portfolio. Okay. Now, financial advising was, when I was a financial advisor, it was these 6 steps: cash flow, debt management, emergency fund, proper protection, build wealth, preserve wealth. But a lot of it had to do with what? Getting out of debt, fund a mutual fund, fund a retirement account, all that stuff. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Okay. Our financial, again, we're not financial planners, but we show you, I just say, what, this is what I do, and we can teach these things to you and take baby steps and learn how to do it yourself. Sound fair? Okay. 1, automate your income. It doesn't matter how much money you make when you work. It only matters how much money you make when you're not working. Okay, that's the number you monitor. Okay, now even if you've never made passive income, if you start and you made $100 a month in passive income, would that be cool? Like, whoa, all right, better than nothing. What if you make 200, 500, 700? What if you get like me and you make $4,000 to $5,000 a month doing nothing? Would you work anymore? Okay, all right, just throwing down ideas. Okay, so automate your income. Forget about retirement accounts. Build income now. 2, eliminate any debt above 6%. I hate credit card debts, all that stuff, all that garbage you buy with, with credit cards. Got to get rid of all that stuff. Get away from that stuff. You use debt to, you want to buy assets. You want to borrow from assets to buy other assets, and then you get wealthy. Then you get free. Then you can go buy the stuff. Sound good? But you got to get rid of it. So we've had students who come in, bunch of credit card debt mess, $20,000 in credit card debt, going crazy. They have a brokerage account. We move the brokerage account tax-free. They press the borrow button, pay off the credit card debt. Credit card debt's gone. They save $1,000 a month. They have no more credit card debt. And then they can save that $1,000 a month in there. So, okay, so we want to eliminate bad debt. Bad debt is bad. Good debt, good debt. Okay, that's okay. Next, grow your emergency fund with a 4% return. There's a way to get 4% interest on all your liquid money. It's fully insured by the FDIC up to $3.75 million. Even though your bank's insured at 250,000, you can get almost 4 million insurance on your savings account, and it pays 4% on all your lazy money. Okay, that's a better emergency fund. Buy life insurance and long-term care with loans. Why not do it with a loan, a low interest loan? Then you bought your life insurance and long-term care with money that didn't exist. You didn't have to work for it, and you didn't have to pay taxes on it. Now, if you fund life insurance, which is triple tax protected with money that's never been taxed, when did you pay taxes? Okay, and then you can borrow from your life insurance to buy real estate or Bitcoin or precious metals, or you can do this with artwork. You could buy a piece of artwork and throw it on your wall and then go to a bank and take a loan secured by your artwork. Rich people do that too. Okay. We have one student who's doing that. Increase the returns and reduce the risk on all your investment accounts. So it's or you could reduce risk or you could increase the returns or both. Okay. But you have to learn how to do that. You definitely have to invest some time into learning this stuff, but we can point you in the right direction. You can just, if you want to build the same portfolio that I have, put $100 in, totally up to you if you want to do that. Okay. And become financially free and retire early. Okay. Where does the word retirement come from? It's created from Wall Street. Just the word retirement. You know what it was created for? To convince you you're supposed to work a job until you're 65 to 70 and fund a retirement account so you can retire one day. But just the word retirement was created by Wall Street. Okay. So like retirement account. What is that telling you need to do? It's convincing you you're supposed to work a job until you're 65 or 70. See, the fact is you don't need to do that. Okay. Learn more at our website, theperfectportfolio.com. It's got so much cool content right now. Really cool stuff on our website just to keep learning. Okay. All right. So what is financial education? Okay. What is financial education? Is save money financial education? Is get good credit? Is that financial education? Is Save in a retirement account. Is that financial education? What is financial education? Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's look at the 7 levels of financial IQ that I sat down and said, where are people right now and where do we want them to be? Okay, so first is, and you got to tell me in the chat, level 1, I don't understand anything. Is anyone at level 1? Don't be embarrassed. Like, "Oh, don't understand anything." Know what it is? Congratulations. It's a huge advantage. When I show an 18-year-old how to do this stuff, they're like, whoa, they have no idea. They just invest and press buttons, totally normal to them. Everyone else is like, oh, this is bad. They're like, oh, that's all they know. Okay. So congratulations. This is a huge advantage. You've not been brainwashed by the schools and by publicly traded financial companies. Congratulations. If you don't know anything, man, it's going to be so much faster to teach you because remember, thinking is just a recycling of the data you've gathered in the past. Okay. Level 2, I save money and get good credit. I save money and I get good credit. You've only been taught to make publicly traded mega banks wealthy. Save money, banks get wealthy. Get good credit, banks get really wealthy. So save money, get good credit, makes other families wealthy. Level 3, save money, get good credit, max out my 401k to save on taxes, Roth IRA and index funds. Boom. Be like, that's what everyone's doing, isn't it? Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, that's what we're all saying to do. You've been educated by bankers and financial advisors that work for publicly traded companies that have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. Okay. So it's impossible to give you better advice than the average. You know what the average is? Broke. You know what the average is? They're going to have to work until they die. Okay. So, might want to consider that if you have a financial advisor and even they're called a fiduciary, but they're working for a publicly traded company, they have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders, which means they must 100% maximize profitability to the shareholders. That's not a real fiduciary. Okay. So, all right. So, all right. Level 4. Now, if you don't know what OPM is, you're the OP in other people's money. If you're not using other people's money, that means other people are getting rich using more money. Okay. And those are the examples. Level 1, level 2, level 3. That's when other families get rich by using your money. Okay. That's level 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, level 4 is I need to use OPM in my investing. That's where you go, wait a second, I need to use debt because debt is tax-free and working hard is highly taxed. That's what the rich understand. Working is the biggest penalty. It takes your time, it's heavily taxed, and you have to fight inflation. And you'll never get ahead if you have those 3 things. Okay, so the rich understand this and they use debt, but they're smart about it. Okay, so this is what we teach people how to do. It's a heck of a lot better than working hard and spending your time fighting traffic, working hard, paying massive taxes and trying to fight inflation. I can tell you that much. It's much easier than doing that. Okay, now how many people say level 1, 2, or 3? We're not judging you, by the way. Okay, most people are at level 3. Some people are at level 2. The vast majority of everybody in the United States is at level 3. Here's the crazy thing. The vast majority of financial advisors and CPAs are at level 3. Think about that. The financial advisors and CPAs that are educating the country on how to manage their finances, they're all stuck at level 3. See, for 3 to 4, okay. I know some of our students are like, man, I'm making it to 4, 4.5, stuff like that. Pretty fun. Okay, so level 4, I need to use other people's money. You've calculated that if you earn a 10% return on your investments, that it's mathematically impossible to build wealth after deducting inflation and taxes. Okay? It's mathematically impossible to ever get ahead earning 10% return on your money after inflation and taxes. Okay? So, might want to give that some thought. Now, think about this. If you don't take control of your finances, for your family's financial education, who will? Is it the teachers in the schools? Is it the bank? Is it Wall Street? Is it the financial advisor at the bank that wants to get you into high interest credit card debt? Is that who it is that's going to educate your family? So, hey, maybe it's time to take the reins here and start educating yourselves and just learn. I'm not saying you don't have to do it. You can learn it and be like, no, don't want to do it. Go back to your 401k. Okay. But just give it some thought. Okay. So if you don't do it, see, I was tired of being poor and I was like, man, I don't know how long it's going to take me to learn this, but when I learn it, I'm going to help my family get wealthy. Okay. 47, make a lot of money doing nothing. Saturday, went out and bought some lakefront property. I was like, I want a lakefront property. We went out and bought one on Saturday, right? So things are going pretty good. Okay. So have your answers changed? Okay. Have your answers changed? Okay. Now, most important part is this. Okay. We asked you 4 questions when you came into this class. And remember, the biggest thing is to change your thinking in this course, right? If you don't change your thinking, you can't change your future. So I want you to answer these things. Compare them to what you think when we came into the course. How is money created? How is it created? What are your answers? How is money created? Okay. Next question. Who can create money? Ooh, pressing buttons. Who can create money? Everyone. Me. Ah. Can I create money? Can you create money? Okay. Sweet. Finally, do I have to work to make money? Do I have to work to make money? Nope. Nope. You've been lied to. Okay. So, all right. So cool. If your answers have changed, it was a successful class. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to give you, we can send you a Google form and you can if you want to fill it out, great. We'll email it to you. And if you're like, man, this is really cool. I know some of people have already enrolled in the course. They didn't even have to, but they enrolled in the course anyways, the live course, and we'll jump right into their finances and start working with them. If you're on the fence, hey, I want to come back, just come back and take 2 more classes, learn it, and then decide if you want to be part of it, right? If you send us a Google form, we'll give you some free chapters of the book, my second book about taxes. We can show you, you want to get rid of debt. Anything above 6%, you can invest and borrow to do that. That's the best way to do it. And you want to learn to build income now. Start with $100. You can scan that code right there. The company we use called M1 Finance, you can scan that code. Now, here's the thing. If you scan it, and you open up an account, a regular brokerage account, taxable brokerage account, and you just connect your bank and put $100 in it, I either myself or somebody on the team will meet with you for 20 minutes and we'll help you get a basic setup. Sound good? Okay, we'll do that for you guys. We won't be able to do that in the future. We're going to get too busy, but we can still do that with the current size of the class. Okay, so start with $100. Sound good? Scan that code and you can do that. They have a savings account. Currently pays between 4 and 4.5, and it's insured actually 3.75 million by the FDIC insurance. Okay, so these are fully insured by the SIPC, federal government, and now M1 does not require a minimum of 2,000 to open it, but if you want to borrow, you'd have to put 2,000 bucks in there, but you can start with $100. Good question. Okay. Then you want to look at protecting life insurance and long-term care is very, very important. If you don't have life insurance and long-term care and you get sick, you can't buy life insurance and long-term care. So if you try and do it when you're healthy or when you're unhealthy and older, you'll never be able to buy it, and then you're in a lot of trouble. So buy it when you're young and healthy, and then you can build a tax-free family bank. You can read about that in my second book. There's that second book. You can text the word taxes to that 800 number, and we'll send you a chapter of the book. Okay, text the word taxes to 833-455-4540, and we can text you some more information on the book so you can keep learning. Okay, you can follow us at The Perfect Portfolio, our YouTube channel. Okay, I think the best way to do that is just go to theperfectportfolio.com. It's all tied into our YouTube channel, testimonials, all that stuff is sort of tied into our website. Now, the cost of this course is usually $2,500, $2,495. It's on sale for $21.95. If somebody invited you here, we're going to pay them a referral fee for doing that. Not, by the way, they didn't do it to make the money. They did it because they love the course, okay, and they believe it. Now, we're not saying you pay us anything right now. You can come to 2 more classes, but we want to give you an idea of what the cost of the course is. Now, I have a challenge for you. I will tell you that 100% certainty, if you spend $100,000 going to any university in the United States, fancy financial university, you could spend 100 grand, and this course is more effective in 16 hours than any university to learn finances. I guarantee it. Okay, because I know we had a student who was like, man, I spent 100 grand at a fancy university, and he's like, I never learned any of this stuff, and he went 100 grand in debt. He's like, I wish I would have come to this class and spending 100 grand. So you can, again, attend the next 2 classes next Wednesday, April 2nd, and then next 2 Wednesdays, my typo, sorry about that. So the next 2 Wednesdays, we're going to have 2 more classes. Okay, we're going to have the orientation class, and then we're going to have class 1, and just keep coming back to that classes and then keep learning. Okay, then decide if you want to continue. Okay, then decide if you want to continue. And same time, same Zoom next week. Okay. Now, Chris was one of our students. He was a mortgage broker for 32 years. He came into the course. He almost had a heart attack. He had a heart attack and almost died. And fortunately, he was able to retire from the mortgage because of this course, and he bought life insurance before he had the heart attack. So it was, he almost died, and he said basically it would have totally devastated his family, but he's fine. He's awesome. He's retired. He doesn't have to work anymore. He's not a mortgage broker. He's so incredibly grateful. Became a great friend of my family's, and just very, very cool stuff. Okay. Another guy, Robert, 25 years working for one of the largest financial and retirement companies in the entire world. Never heard of this stuff. Came in, started learning this. This testimony was like 2 years ago, and he's been transforming his finances after 25 years in the financial service industry. So tons of testimonials. Now, there's 3 different versions of the course. Which one's right for you? There is learn at your own pace. If you're like, hey, I don't need a live course, I don't have time for it, I just want to do it at my own pace, video course, right? It's on our website. Live course is this one right now. That's where we teach it live. Okay. By the way, if you can't attend every classes, no problem. We'll send you the recording, and we could send you all the recordings at the end if you needed to. Okay. So the live course, the mastermind course is, we'll tell you a little bit about that. Okay. Learning your own pace course is retail $900, $599. You can do payments. If you're like, hey, I'm a little bit tight on cash, you can just do that. Let's say I don't have time for the live course. I just want to do it on my own. Boom, go for the video course. Okay. It's all the classes, pre-recorded classes available. Watch it on your own time. If you're a do-it-yourself, you're like, I don't need help with this stuff, I'm rocking and rolling. Boom, video course might be the best place for you. By the way, if you buy the video course and then you upgrade to the live, hey, we're going to apply for anything you spent with the company before. We'll apply that to any upgrades in the future. Okay. We can obviously have even with a video course, we'll have one meeting with myself or a representative to help you get the basic setup. Okay. It's like, got your $100 going, give you the basic setup, and then you can kind of do that. Okay. Again, affiliate program. If you want to refer another student, they join a course, we'll pay you 10% as a referral commission. Okay. Live course, $24.95 as $21.95. 8-week course. That's what we're doing right now. You attend the first 3 classes. There's 5 to 6 classes for the students who actually join the course. That's when you get into real estate, cryptocurrency, really deep dive, a little bit of options trading stuff, the basics. Okay. And tons of quizzes and knowledge quizzes and stuff. Okay. You'll be in an alumni community where you get to like answer questions, ask questions with other students who are experienced, and of course, more time with myself or a representative. I try and meet every student and try and work with them a little bit as much as I possibly can. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin, crypto, you're going to learn all that stuff. Real estate tax codes, you'll learn all that stuff. And more importantly, you can learn that stuff and you can kind of use the book as a manual, right? You can learn the book, use the classes, apply it, book, classes, application, you can learn even that much faster. Mastermind course, generally for accredited investors. These are usually people that have tax problems. They have a CPA, they're paying $3 in taxes, and their CPA and financial advisor don't know what to do. Okay, this is a problem, right? Or somebody comes to us and they say, I have 2.5 million in my retirement account, and I just realized I owe taxes on $2.5 million. Yeah, the person could pay millions of dollars in taxes. We work with them, and when we show them how to put the pieces in place, we get my CPA, we do 2 years of tax planning, and we can usually save you, $200,000 to $300,000. That's for a person. We do some consulting with that people and save them a ton of money. Sorry, I'm also losing my voice a little bit tonight, so it's been a interesting, extra interesting class. Okay. And additional bunch of different classes. We'll introduce you to our top financial advisors, CPA. We can give you stuff there's things we can't tell you about unless you're an accredited investor. Again, accredited investors, we're able to teach you some more advanced strategies too. Okay. So yeah, good stuff. Okay. And to get a certain financial advisor to manage your account, you need a minimum of 250,000. And then they could literally hedge it with stock options. And if the market crashes, you can lose very little money. Pretty cool stuff that you can do. Okay. It includes advanced tax avoidance profitability strategy. Again, we work with the people over about 2 years to put the pieces in place over 2 years with the goal of what? Paying 0 taxes. Okay. We'll try and get you as closely as we possibly can to doing that. Okay. That's our mastermind course. At least guaranteed at least 10x the value. We usually do that pretty quickly. We can get you 10 to 20x value on your money. Now, who wants a free smart strategy? Free smart strategy. Anyone? Yes, no? Okay. Here's the best one we got. What if I told you could sign up for any perfect portfolio course with none of your own money? How many people? So here's how to do it. Let's say you had an investment account somewhere else. You could transfer the investment account over, which is not taxable. Don't sell it. And then you can press the borrow button, send the money to your bank account, and pay for a course. Didn't cost you anything. You just pressed the button, created money, and you paid for a course with money you didn't have to work for and money you didn't have to pay taxes on. So you used the perfect portfolio to pay for the course with money you didn't have to work or pay taxes on. Okay, so you can use a margin loan to pay for it. You can either invest and then borrow and then pay for a course. Didn't cost you anything. Now let's take it a step further. Imagine you used your credit card. I use credit cards and I get lots of points and then I pay them off. So business owners do that. Well, you could pay for the course on your credit card. You can invest, and then later that month you could borrow and pay off the credit card. Now, if you paid for a course as a business owner, that's a tax deduction. So think about this. If a business owner, they can put it on the credit card, get free points, cash back, and then they can invest, they can borrow, take a loan, which is money that's never been taxed, pay for a course. That's a tax deduction for the business owner. That means the government owes the money. That means the state and federal government paid for our coaching to teach them how to pay no taxes over 2 years. That's like our mastermind course. So any course can, if you use the perfect portfolio strategies, buying and borrowing, you could pay for any one of our courses with none of your own money, with money you didn't work for, just by pressing the borrow button. And you're using the strategies. And if you're a business owner, you could actually write the cost of the course off on your taxes and get a tax deduction or a tax credit. So it would really cost you nothing. In fact, the government would pay us to help you avoid taxes. Pretty cool. The course costs you none of your own money. Points and cash back are tax-free. You didn't liquidate shares of anything, so you didn't pay taxes there. This may be a tax deduction to your business. Uncle Sam will pay you to learn how to legally avoid taxes. Okay, now that is truly a strategy to maximize assets and reduce taxes. Okay. All right. Last but not least, 2 questions. Did we raise your financial IQ? And 2, did we raise your financial IQ? And 2, did we change your thinking? Did we change your thinking? How many people said, yep, change my thinking? Okay. If we did those 2 things, we were successful, and we can only put so much in your brain in one class, guys. So you're going to have to go back and think about that and see if it makes sense. And then if you want to try to start learning it, just let us know and we can kind of help you a little bit. But again, we're not financial advisors, but we can at least point you in the right direction and kind of show you what we're doing. So anyways, learn this and teach it to your family. That's my last thing. Learn this and teach it to your family, teach it to your kids, teach it to your brother, your sister, your parents, and your family can get very, very wealthy. Okay. Our goal is to create 1 million new millionaires. We're very, very, very serious about that. Okay. We're going to do it. Okay. That's going to be done by having you learn it and then you help teach others. Okay. So we can work it together and we can create 1 million new. Anybody in on that who wants to help us create 1 million new millionaires? Okay. Well, we're going to do it. Right. So we would appreciate your help. And we'd appreciate it if you would become one of those new millionaires. Okay. And then help others do the same. Sound good? All right, guys. Thanks for showing up tonight. I appreciate you guys spending the time. I know it's late for some of you guys. Now, if somebody missed this and you're like, man, I want somebody to see this, we'll probably put it on YouTube tomorrow. We'll definitely send out the recording of the class to you guys. And if you know somebody who you think would really need to see this, they can watch the recording and then let us know. And then we can have them come into the next class, which is our orientation class next week. Sound good? All right, guys. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. And let us know how we can help, guys. Have a great evening, guys. Super fun talking to you guys. And this is gonna be just another amazing class of people just changing their lives. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye for now.